Hi dragonflies and butterflies, I'm going to show you how I'm going to write my letter to my grandma. So the first thing I need to do is look at my plan, and on my plan it says that I need to include the date. Now we know that because that's one of the features of a letter. So at the top of my piece of paper I'm going to write today's date, and we write that on the right hand side at the top. So today is Wednesday. So I'm going to use a capital letter for Wednesday because that is the name of the day. Proper noun. Wednesday, the 29th of April. Again, I'm going to use a capital letter for April because it's the name of the month. Okay, as you can see, I have used my neat cursive handwriting. So it's really important we use our neat cursive handwriting because that will show the person who we're writing to that we're taking pride in our letter and we're working really hard on it. So the next thing I need to do is look at my plan again. And on my plan, the next feature I need to include is the greeting. So I've planned to write Dear Grandma. And I've also made sure that I've put a comma after grandma. So that's the next thing I need to do on my letter. So I'm going to leave a line under the date, and now I'm going to come down to the left hand side of my page and I'm going to write Dear, capital letter for dear, and capital letter for grandma because that's her name, it's a proper noun. And then don't forget, you must include your comma after grandma. Okay, so I've done my greeting. I'm going to go back to my plan and I'm going to remember what it was I was going to include in the main content of my letter. So first of all, I was going to ask her how she was. Now I'm not just going to copy that onto my page. I'm going to think about what sort of different ways can I ask how she is? What might I want to know about her? So I'm going to do a bit more thinking and I'm going to ask, first of all, how are you? I might tell her that I've been missing her, so I wanted to write a letter to tell her how I am and what I've been getting up to. So I'm going to leave a line between Dear Grandma, comma, and the main body of my letter. So I'm going to leave this line and I'm going to start here. So first of all, I'm going to say, how are you? How are you? I'm writing a question, so I need to put a question mark. I'm going to say that I've been missing her. Remember our apostrophes learning. I've is short for I have, so I'm going to put my apostrophe and VE. I've been missing you. So I wanted to write to you to see what you've been doing. You've is short for you have, so I've written you apostrophe VE. That's the end of my sentence, so I put a full stop. I need to think about what I want to write next. So I'm going to reread what I've written. How are you? I've been missing you, so I wanted to write to you to see what you've been doing. I might write another question. How have you been keeping yourself busy during this time? So I'm going to use a capital letter. Or I might change that, now I'm thinking as I'm writing, I might change that to how have you been filling your time? And that's a question, so I need to put a question mark. So now I'm going to go on to talking about what I've been doing. So that makes sense because I've asked her how she's been filling her time. I'm going to talk a lot about how I've been filling my time during all of this time at home. So I'm going to go back to my plan and think about what I was going to tell her about. So I was going to tell her about spending time with my children, working, doing Joe Wicks's workouts every day, which is fun but exhausting. So I must make sure I include those adventurous vocabulary words into my writing. So I go back to my letter. And I think I'll start by saying I've been spending lots of time with my children. Now I wonder if I can make that sentence any better. Maybe I can describe my children. What adjectives could I use to describe them? I could use the adjective delightful, my delightful children. My son's laughing because he thinks I'm going to use an adjective that that might be not so nice, but of course I'd describe them in a nice way because I love them lots. So, how have you been filling your time? I'm going to write my next sentence. I have been very busy. I have been spending lots of time. I might change lots of time to many hours. And notice how I'm rehearsing my sentence before I write it and then thinking, can I make it any better? With my delightful children. So now I'm thinking I might want to tell her a bit more of what we've been doing. So we've been playing games, I've been helping my son with his work, so I might tell her a bit about that. We've, which is short for we have, so I'm going to start listing the games we've been playing now. So remember, we need to use commas when we're writing a list. So such as Monopoly. I love a game of Monopoly. Comma. Snakes and ladders. And frustration. Jamie and Isabella often get annoyed because I win. I want to explain that I keep winning, or I regularly, oh that's a good word, regularly win. I'm going to use an exclamation mark there because it happens quite a lot. Okay, so now I need to carry on my letter. So I'm going to carry on telling my grandma about all the things that I've been doing, and then I will think about closing my letter.